Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome to the Mina channel. Today we're going to be talking about Persona 5 Strikers. Now it should be out now, and by this point, whether you're winning or a little bit or just starting to play the game, you may have some questions or some things that maybe doesn't click as well or something like that. So here are 5 tips for you, so as a beginner, to enjoy this game and everything. So again, if you have any other tips for beginners, please go ahead and drop them in the comments below. And please, no spoilers. I know some people already finished the game, some people haven't played the game, and so on. So please don't leave any spoilers for all the people that haven't played the game yet. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. So, number one, we're going to talk about the fighting and the level exploration. So, this game is obviously very different from the other Persona games. This is a action RPG, a little bit different from what you used to probably with Persona 5 Royal or Persona 5 or any of the other games that they had in the series so far. So this is an action RPG, so it plays a little bit different or significantly different in a lot of different aspects. One of the things that I've seen some people comment a lot is, oh, I know which teammates I want to have in my party or so on. I actually encourage you to level up all of your characters, as well as kind of switch around, mess around with different characters and everything. Some particular bosses has specific weakness that only 1 or 2 characters will be able to do. So let's say that you have a party with particular abilities or anything like that, and you decide not to take these other people, you're gonna have a hard time in the boss battle. So my advice for you will be, try to rotate your party members every once in a while so everybody levels up equally, as well as just kind of mess around with different combinations and attacks and everything like that. The more you use a character, the more skills they develop. They actually get this level up system as well as the regular level system, where they actually learn new combos and new combinations for their attacks or unique special attacks and everything like that. So I do encourage you to actually switch out different party members so you can kind of get to know the different party members, because you may need a particular party member for a boss battle, and you may not be acquaintance with their particular skills, or they may be too low level to use or something like that. So I strongly recommend to do that. So on my number 2, I have the speed usage in the game. So because this is an action RPG, I'm using quotations here, it is still bound by some of the laws of RPGs, such as the expenditure of MP, of SP, whatever you want to call it, magical points, strength points, whatever it is. So the special points in Persona or Persona 5 allows you to summon your persona. However, you actually don't have to use your persona pressing L1 for that. You can actually use a combo using square, triangle, whatever is that on PC or Switch, don't ask me. So what that does, I'll actually do the elemental attack with that particular persona that you have. Why is that important? Because when you do use that combo, it actually doesn't waste any of your XP. On the other hand, if you decide to use the regular summoning of the speeds and everything, you can actually drain through your SP really fast, way before you even get to a boss battle, especially because there's tons and tons of battles in this game. In fact, there's hundreds, I would say, of battles that you go, mini battles. They're really small, really short, some of them, but a really easy way to drain your SP is just using your persona all the time. I strongly recommend against doing that. I know it's a cool mechanic to have on everything, but I strongly recommend to save you the SP for whenever you actually need it for battles and everything, because a lot of the times some battles start and end within seconds, so you're just wasting your SP at a time. You could just hack and slash without having to use the elemental attacks or anything like that. That being said, if you do end up running out of SP, I strongly recommend to travel around the city to buy both ingredients and recipes for Joker. Joker has a thing here in the game called Joker's Kitchen. This allows you to cook different stuff and everything. They do different things. Not all of them recover SP. Some of them recover health. Some of them recover other stuff. Some of them do boosts and everything. But the main one is when you do coffee or curry, they will increase or heal SP over time. So strongly recommend to invest your time into looking around town, buying the items, and not only the items but also new recipes. As Joker goes from new towns to town, he actually learns new recipes, and those recipes can be used all the time for new stuff and everything. So again, strongly recommend to buy stuff all the time. It's really important. You can still go and buy SP items from the vending machines as well. So as many items as you want, but again, it is really easy to drain your SP in this game. If you're not careful, if you're not using the correct attacks and everything, you're definitely gonna run through it pretty quickly. So moving on, next we have the bonds system. So one of the coolest additions to Persona, in particular in Persona 5 Strikers, is the bond system. Is this system levels up two different ways. Basically through story. The more you go through the story, the bonds level is just gonna go up automatically. But when you do certain actions or certain activities within the game, for example, when you level up, the bond system can sometimes go up. When you do certain things with somebody, it goes up as well. You decide to hang out with somebody, go eat ramen or something like that. That levels up the bond and everything. So I strongly recommend to go through different activities with friends and everything. The game doesn't have activities like in Persona 5 Rojo. I know I mentioned before that there are not activities. There are activities you can do at certain times in the game. They're mostly scripted and they don't actually waste your day. There is no calendar system here. So the calendar system exists, but it's not real. It doesn't go from the days like in Persona 5. You know how you have a calendar and you do activity and then the next day pass. Not in this game. You actually just go throughout the day. Typically for the story, you don't actually go through the days yourself. The story just kind of moves the day forwards and everything. But using activities or doing activities in here doesn't actually waste your time or anything. Now, going back to the bond system. So one of the cool things about the bond system is as you're leveling up and doing these activities or going through the story, it allows you to use these modifiers for your characters. It looks like stamps because it's a popular thing in Japan to have stamps for certain things. When you go to a tower, there is a stamp system. Oh, if you go and look at these places, there's a stamp system. So they made it based on that imagery there. But the cool thing about the bond system basically is you are able to modify things like your strength. You get discounts. You get a lot of different stuff like there is one where enemies will drop more money or they will drop more items or that kind of stuff. There's all these kind of modifiers. I strongly recommend you to read through the whole list before you kind of making your choices. Sometimes I think sometimes people just make choices based on like whim or everything. So it's important. I don't think you can reset your points back again. So if you messed up or did something wrong, you actually just end up just not being able to replace that again. So strongly recommend. Bonds are really good. Don't forget about them. Some people just, I guess, don't go through them or something, but I strongly recommend go through the bond system and actually choose your different stuff. It is a big game changer. The boosts and the stuff that you get from it are significant, and they do change the boss battles and everything. I was one of those persons that didn't really look much into it, but then right for a boss battle I did it, and it just helped me so much in that battle. So I strongly recommend you to look through the system and everything. Speaking of discounts, because I mentioned this, Sophie in the game has the ability to work kind of like an Amazon kind of style thing. Basically, you go into the shopping app that she has, and you can purchase stuff with her. Things like weapons and armor and that kind of stuff. Or even specific supplies or limited things or anything like that. The more you invest with her, as well as with the stamps and everything, the more items she's gonna have. The cool other thing is when you do the discount thing, you can actually level up that discount as well, all the way from to level 3, I believe. And her discounts are amazing. Now, one thing that I will say, this is my tip in that aspect. You can actually just go into the jail and then come back and the items will reset. So if you need to buy a bunch of items or something like that, just go do an activity, come back, and then come back to it. The items and HP and SP actually heal all the time in here. You only need to go back and forth and everything, and you get your healed items and everything. So they actually made this fairly easy, I think. I think this is definitely one of the easiest aspects of the game. But again, I don't think you realize that at first until much later. Yeah, you can just leave the jail and come back whenever. It's not like in Persona 5 either in that aspect, where you kind of just end the day. You can actually just swap back and forth. Go to the jail, grind a little bit, then come back and do some activities, and then come back and everything. As long as you don't follow the story forward, you move the story forward, the day is not gonna actually pass at all. So invest some time in Sophie's. She also has a second app that she does later, and this is an app with quest. There's different quests that you can do. Some of these quests can be things like just little things that you can pick up, but some of them are actually pretty good. For example, fighting boss battles again. That way you can get some special items or some special conditions for some special stuff. So I strongly recommend you do the quests, especially the boss battles. That will not only just teach you new attacks and everything, but also it just helps you a lot in the long run. And my final tip is regarding the Velvet Room and Fusion. So like any other game in Persona, this game does have some kind of fusion. I will say particularly the Velvet Room is actually pretty lackluster in this game. It does only about has 70 to 80 personas. I counted myself, but I think I lost the count. I think it's about like 75 to 6 personas. So it's not a lot of them. It's not as many. I think I think Persona 5 had like over 200. Just to kind of give you a rough estimate of how little lackluster that is. That being said, every persona that you get has special attacks, special combos that you do with your character, and they actually do that special showtime attack as well. So it is not completely bad in that end, because again they programmed a lot of different characters or personas and everything like that. So I can see why that will be a little bit different. So I do strongly recommend you to continue to fuse just like in the regular game. However, the game just works a little bit different with the fusions and everything. It's not as detailed, and not everything matters as much. For example, I found that buffs and debuffs in this game don't actually do too much. They do some, and it's relevant, but it's not in the extent that something like, say, a Shin Megami Tensei game, or even some of the Persona games, where the buffs and debuffs really just do a lot of help. Here, it's 50-50. I never really felt like I needed to boost. I did it because out of just, that's how I am used to doing it all the time, buffs and debuffs. But in this game, it doesn't really make much of a difference in that. In anything, you're just wasting your SP really, because you may need it just for weaknesses and technicals and that kind of stuff. So I still strongly recommend you to focus on fusion. However, fusing is not gonna be as rewarding. Again, I don't think that you get a lot of personas. The game just drops personas all the time when you're in battle and everything. It's really easy to capture personas in this game. It's 100%. You just literally pick them up. When you're in battle, you fight somebody and you pick them up. So it's not really difficult or anything like that. But again, I do strongly still recommend you to do the fusion and everything, but not nearly as rewarding at all. Anyway, that's pretty much my 5 tips for beginners. Let me know in the comments below if you have any questions or anything like that. And if you're interested or want to drop some tips for other people, let them know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching this. If you're new, consider liking and subscribing. I'll see you guys next time.